Happy New Year, Jamaica. I hope you're happy to see a new year. I know I am. Change can be difficult, and sometimes you have to push a little harder towards your goals. 2021 has just begun, and it can also be the start of a new job, a new school, or even a new business, if only you push a little harder. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams. Journey with us. We're going to take you through the next half hour filled with uplifting messages from our nation's leaders.
We will overcome the threat.
The public health team began to develop protocols that would help to delay the entry of the virus into the country, contain its spread, and slow the transmission among the population.
We will be implementing an unprecedented $25 billion fiscal stimulus.
We remain committed to making this a decade of growth for Jamaica.
The 2020 Year in Review, January 4 to 26, 2021, Mondays to Fridays inside Jamaica Magazine. That's the 2020 Year in Review, building forward together.
2020 was a year for the history books, in both good and bad ways. As we shake off the old and embark on a new decade, Governor General His Excellency Sir Patrick Allen has some words of encouragement in his New Year's Day message.
My fellow Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora, a new year is upon us, and we are all breathing a collective sigh of relief that 2020, the year that reshaped our lives in so many ways, is behind us. As 2021 dawns, we are stepping into the unknown with some trepidation, with the COVID-19 pandemic continuing unabated. Having settled into the realities of pandemic life, we must continue to make the difficult adjustments guided by our many experiences in 2020. Let us embrace the challenges as we move forward while keeping the positives of the past year in perspective. I think all of us can agree with the advice of the late Bob Marley, who said, "You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have." We should all adopt a positive mindset as we persevere in the battle against the darkness and fatigue that we experienced in 2020. It is easy to become preoccupied with negative thoughts and outlook. However, we have many positive and innovative ideas emerging from our various experiences with COVID-19. And for these, we are grateful. In moving forward, I offer words of hope, reassurance, and courage. Let us not allow our fears to overwhelm us. Difficult though it may be, we must press on to embrace faith over fear. Many years ago, I taught my students that if they have faith, they would be winners. Those who believed and adopted the mantra became very successful entrepreneurs and professionals. Now I commend the same to you. Do not lose faith. Let 2021 be the year when we move forward and demonstrate again the great potential of our Jamaican people. Let us affirm our commitment to development, to celebrate life, and to believe in ourselves. Minnie Haskins, in her famous poem, Gate of the Year, wrote, and I quote, "And I said to the man who stood at the gate of the year, 'Give me a light that I may tread safely into the unknown.' And he replied, 'Go out into the darkness and put your hand into the hand of God. That shall be to you better than light and safer than a known way.'" We must remain supportive and caring of each other in this new year with renewed strength and the resilience that define us as Jamaicans. Lady Ellen joins me in wishing every one of you a healthy, safe, productive, and happy New Year.
Up next, Prime Minister Andrew Holness shares his 2021 plans for Jamaica and its citizens as he lays out the agenda to build forward together.
We welcome 2021 with hope and optimism, giving thanks to God for sparing our lives to see this new year. I am privileged and grateful to lead this great nation, small in size, but large in stature with endless potential. As difficult and challenging as it was, 2020 demonstrated that our greatest problems can only be solved when we cooperate and unite in common cause. Jamaica has done well in managing the pandemic relative to its resources. Our objective has always been to flatten the curve, that is, to contain the number of persons in need of medical treatment so as not to overwhelm the healthcare system, and to do this for as long as possible until a vaccine became available. Our healthcare workers and our frontline workers have done an outstanding job in keeping us safe, and we owe them all a debt of gratitude. However, now is not the time for complacency. Let us all continue to do our part so that the tremendous sacrifices that we have made in 2020 to protect lives and livelihoods are not squandered. Vaccines are now available, and our government has set up a committee to plan and operationalize the distribution logistics involved. Jamaica has had a long and successful history in administering national vaccination programs through our primary healthcare system. I certainly recall my time receiving vaccines in primary school. The government will engage in a public education campaign and strongly recommend and urge Jamaicans, particularly those who are vulnerable, to get vaccinated. The vaccine will be free of cost to those who seek to obtain it through the public health system. The pandemic has had far more than just health implications. It has laid bare the fragile world in which we live. Our economies have been affected at every level, globally, nationally, and most importantly, the economy of your household has been affected. Many Jamaicans watching this message now are unemployed. Many business persons and small entrepreneurs have had to close or are contemplating closing their business. The pandemic has also taken a toll on our education system. The society has not yet fully contemplated the impact psychologically and functionally on our children, teachers, and parents. The pandemic has also highlighted our infrastructure challenges, particularly broadband internet connectivity. One of the profound impacts of the pandemic is that it has brought to the fore the expectation for social justice and equity, both in the economic care response of the government to the pandemic fallout and in the application and enforcement of the measures implemented to control the spread. This government is sensitive to these concerns, and we have been quick to respond with critical support for those affected and with measures that are evidence-based, situationally appropriate, and proportionate, at all times being transparent, equitable, and rights-based. The pandemic has caused us to rethink the organization of our society and has provided the basis on which long-desired but feared change can take place. The need for a digital society, greater financial inclusion as we move towards cashless transactions, and the national identification system for accountable distribution and access to services are all now imperatives as a result of the pandemic. The government is responding to these imperatives And in 2021, we will advance the development of a digital currency. We will pass the National Identification Bill. We will continue to expand and intensify the program for financial inclusion, and we will expand broadband internet access right across Jamaica. We will focus on measures to regain employment and keep businesses going. We will continue to implement the plans developed under the COVID-19 Economic Recovery Task Force. We will diversify our economy and improve our efficiency and competitiveness through institutional and regulatory reform. We will take steps to build 21st century skills such as coding and programming to support the high demand for these skills in the global services sector. We see and feel the energy in the construction and real estate development sector and recognize its potential to create jobs, transform the built environment, modernize infrastructure, and improve quality of life. However, proper regulation is needed. Otherwise, development will be chaotic. The government is sensitive to the social, environmental, and property rights tensions that are emerging. In 2021, we will bring greater development, enforcement, and regulatory focus to this sector. We will transform our education system. The Education Transformation Commission has been working and is on target to deliver their report during the first half of 2021. This will give us a roadmap towards transforming the system and making it fit for the 21st century and the fourth industrial revolution. The pandemic has also shown the need to have a strong, well-equipped, and fully mobilized security and law enforcement apparatus. The JCF and the JDF have supported the frontline health workers and helped to man our ports, deliver care packages, secure quarantine facilities, in addition to managing states of public emergency and zones of special operations while conducting their regular duties. I want to give special and heartfelt commendations to the hard-working men and women of the JDF and the JCF. Our plan to secure Jamaica is a long-term plan. However, we are beginning to see results. Last year, all serious crimes except shootings were down, and we managed to flatten the homicide curve. We will continue to modernize technology and systems in the JCF and JDF, strengthen the legislative framework to support enhanced crime fighting and security measures, and expand the zones of special operations to transform crime-plagued communities. Integral to the success of our strategy is building trust among our citizens. We continue to see an improved relationship with our security forces, moderation in police action, and enforcement within the law and without violence. Despite our best efforts in fighting crime, our successes will be limited unless we recognize that we have a violence problem. We use violence as a primary means of conflict resolution. We use violence in our domestic relations, intimate partner relations, correction and education of our children, in our music and entertainment, and in settling daily social transactions. Regardless of what we do with the reform of our security apparatus, if our society does not reduce violence, we will not have the sustainable growth and development that we need to progress. The National Commission on Violence Prevention is progressing, and based on its report, the government will implement its recommendations through legislation, public education, and civil society mobilization. Our goal is to increase the socio-emotional intelligence of our citizens and build a kinder, gentler, and more caring society. The pandemic has cast a long shadow over 2020, but let's not forget that there was much that we accomplished. 2020 marked the lowest level of interest rates for mortgages and consumer loans in the history of Jamaica, the most stable period of low inflation to benefit consumers and fixed income earners, the introduction of the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme, new opportunities for ownership of the economy with 30,000 Jamaicans becoming shareholders of Trans-Jamaican Highway, the abolition of the minimum business tax and the introduction of the $375,000 MSME tax credit, the reduction in GCT of 1.5%, the implementation of the CARE program, the largest ever social intervention program in the history of Jamaica to cushion the effects of the pandemic, and the recognition of the global community in our handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. 2020 was a challenging year, but it strengthened us. In 2021, we will build forward stronger and better together. Happy New Year, Jamaica. May God bless you and your family.
Get comfortable, we aren't done yet. Up next, Leader of the Opposition, Mark Golding, shares his New Year's Day message.
My fellow Jamaicans, Happy New Year! As we close out 2020 and embark on 2021, the new year brings with it a renewed sense of possibility and a time for reflection. The past year has been a particularly challenging one for Jamaica and the whole world, as we have lived through the crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic and have endured the major economic downturn that has resulted from it. Over 100,000 Jamaicans who were employed this time last year are now out of a job. Many businesses have had to scale down or even close operations, and the virus continues to spread across the land, putting severe pressure on our health systems. On a personal level, we have had to adjust to maintaining physical distancing and wearing masks in public spaces, even as we seek to remain socially and emotionally connected. It is a true Jamaican spirit of caring and sharing that we must rely on to pull through this crisis. We have seen it among those serving on the front lines of the pandemic, our doctors, our nurses, our hospital staff. We have seen it among our other essential workers who face danger every day to keep us safe, our firemen, our police officers, our soldiers. I thank you all for your immeasurable contributions to the betterment of Jamaica and for your service to our land. And in communities across Jamaica, we have banded together in support of one another, each one helping one in little ways that make life more tolerable in these challenging times. This is the spirit of Jamaica and Jamaicans. Happily, as we enter 2021, there is hope for a brighter tomorrow. The marvels of collaborative modern science have developed several vaccines that offer the chance of bringing this pandemic to an end this year. For the skeptics among us, it is worth remembering that it is vaccines which have allowed mankind to move beyond serious illnesses like tuberculosis, smallpox, and polio that used to afflict millions of people around the world every year. In this era of fake news and misinformation, it is important that we listen to credible sources of knowledge and trust our health professionals. In 2021, Jamaicans must remain vigilant in holding government accountable and protecting the Constitution and the rule of law. I note a few developments worthy of mention. Despite pressure from within and outside Parliament, the government has not relented on its decision to overturn the convention followed since 2007 that all sessional committees of the House of Representatives should be chaired by opposition MPs. This is a backward step that has weakened parliamentary oversight of the executive. Local citizens have had to go to court to challenge the Prime Minister's decision to overrule NEPA's refusal to allow mining in the environmentally sensitive Dry Harbour Mountains area. And we have recently discovered that the Supreme Court ruling that the recent states of emergency and the concept of executive detention are unconstitutional is being appealed by the government. The opposition will continue to be vigilant in standing up for the rights of the Jamaican people. We would also like to see 2021 to be the year when Jamaica takes steps towards repatriating our sovereignty by constitutional reform to replace the British monarch with a Jamaican president as our head of state, and to replace the Privy Council in London with the Caribbean Court of Justice as our final court of appeal. We hope that there can be bipartisan consensus on these fundamental steps towards completing our independence. Time come. As we enter into 2021, let us recommit to our national goals and work together in achieving them. It is my hope that the coming year will be filled with stories of triumph, hope and joy for all Jamaicans at home and abroad. From my family to yours, we wish you a Happy New Year.
While 2020 has caused a lot of us to lose faith in our dreams, I'm here to tell you that there's always hope. Hope and aim for a brighter 2021. You can push through any obstacle once you possess the right attitude and the will for success. If you are feeling unattached from society and your dreams, then this next feature is for you. Take a look.
I was yearning for success so much that it brought me to the wrong road. I was actually incarcerated because of my actions. And that is where I got into sewing, because I had to do something to make up for the time and to keep myself active. So this program, I heard about it as soon as I was released in May 13th. So it was my ray of hope. This is my change. This is my way forward. So I come with all zeal and tenacity to go forward.
Cressy Ray is just one of the thousands of Jamaican young people whose lives are being transformed because of their engagement in the Prime Minister's Housing Opportunity, Production and Employment Hope Program.
The HOPE program is about engaging with the youth of Jamaica in a meaningful way. To give them, so it is mainly a training and apprenticeship program, if I can summarize that in a nutshell. It involves engaging young persons through, firstly, values and attitudes, or what I call core skills training. Then it gets into a skills training, a very basic skills training, and then get them to serve as an apprentice for up to 1 year, honing the skills that they would have learned.
And that is exactly the course taken by the Hope Garment Construction Corps at the Heart Trust NTA Garmix Academy.
The first phase was 2 weeks of what is called core skills training. Basically life skills training, different areas where they were taught life coping skills, punctuality, how to dress for work, how to manage their emotions, things like that.
I deserve the best things that life has to offer.
They were taken into the machine operating training, where the 100 were placed in 4 groups of 25 with 4 instructors learning to sew. The final phase will be going into production, where they will actually start making the shirts for the other persons. And you will see from the display we have over here that they're actually making shirts now.
Yes, you heard right. These students are actually making shirts for the over 15,000 participants of the Hope program.
When we started the program, the intent was to have everybody be in receipt of a shirt, Oxford type shirt, that would be to help to promote the good working ethics, including their own dress and deportment. To purchase shirts outright and to have them branded, the cost was really far too prohibitive in order to kit out the vast numbers that we're hoping to reach on the program. Then there was a suggestion to speak to Hart Garments Academy, and I found out that they had this massive facility with over 100 machines, which were generally being underutilized at the time.
Now these young garment makers are learning much more than stitching shirts for fellow Hope participants.
I'm enjoying it right now because I can make my own shirt, skirt, and now I'm dropping to make my own dress.
It is very enlightening, astounding. I didn't know it was so meticulous to make even a simple dress. You know, we look at it as just two pieces of fabric, but when you get down to the nitty and gritty, it has so many different calculations, but it's something I love.
Because the clothes wasn't working out for me, I tried to do jewelry making. It's going great so far because I can make my own jewelry, I can produce it, I can have my own store and selling them.
The length is from the waist to the ground.
And none of this would be possible without the team of hard-working instructors on hand.
At first, I didn't know anything about sewing. Then, basically, getting the steps from our instructors, and they're teaching us step by step, so you get everything and understand. And at this stage where I'm at, I'm proud of myself, because if I didn't came here, I wouldn't know to do nothing at all.
The teachers, trust me, they work hard. It's not easy dealing with us as young adults, so they work hard. And what I love about them, it's not just about passing for them. It is about sitting down with the person, making sure they understand. So I give the teachers 2 thumbs up.
They help me a lot because I give them most of them problem. And there is not an instructor here who don't know me. Because I walk around and I ask questions, how to do my shirt, and they all helped me. It don't make no sense to stay home and sit down and I look for somebody to give something when you can come out, learn a skill, and can do something for yourself.
It doesn't matter what background you're from or where you're from. Just come with an open mind and willing to learn. And once you're willing, you'll go a long way because there's hope for you.
For more information on the Garment Construction Corps or the HOPE program, call or visit a National Youth Service or Heart Trust NTA office. Toll free 1-888-432-7868 or email info@heart-nta.org.
As a government, despite COVID-19, we remain committed to making this the decade of growth for Jamaica to anchor our peace, prosperity, and resilience.
Join us on Monday, January 4, 2021 to see the strides made towards Jamaica becoming the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. That's the major achievements of the Office of the Prime Minister in 2020 on Monday, January 4, 2021, right here on this station.
This is where our program ends today. Join us again tomorrow, same time on this same station. Remember to follow our social media pages and visit our website at jis.gov.jm and our YouTube channel. The JIS family wishes you a blessed new year filled with health, wealth, and happiness. I'm Audrey Williams. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.